Bada boom, bada bang, bada bop. We are back today with a low-key speed day ripper at an affordable price point. And if you're looking for a new speed shoe or a Carbon County race shoe or a max cushion shoe or a daily training workhorse, make sure you are on the Supwell app. I'm at a different location today, so you can't see my shirt as easily. They say I should hit the gym, but look at this vertical. That's a pretty good vertical right there, right? Supwell app is my app. It's a buy-sell trade marketplace for generally used running shoes and new running shoes. Some people will put shoes that they just have sitting in boxes. I've seen a lot of Super Blasts go up recently, actually. So if you're looking for a slightly firmer daily trainer that a lot of people like, you could get a good Super Blast there. Also, it's the best hobby jogger community. If you're training for a half marathon or a marathon and you want to get your questions answered by other people who have been there, get on the Supwell app, post your questions. I'm on there. You could even maybe DM me with questions. It's the best place to be. Best deals, best community, Supwell app. Enjoy today's video. Alright, man, we are at the Greenway here. I did not film while driving today, so they can't call the cops on me. I filmed very strategically when the car was stopped only. Show this footage to the Mint Hill Police Department and they'll just laugh. But yeah, man, I've had a tough work week. I worked 2 back-to-back 14-hour days. And this morning, as I was leaving the house, Reevesy threw up on the floor. And I'm not actually feeling that great. However, I haven't gotten a workout in this week, and I'm just going to give it my best shot. Now, on these types of days, we just got to do the best we can. Not every workout is going to be awesome. I can even hear, I just feel tired, man. I just feel tired. I bet if I were showing my face, I would look tired too. I feel tired. But yeah, man, I'm just going to do my best out here. I want to get a workout in because I'm in this 12-week marathon training block right now. I came out here to the Greenway today to get a change of scenery. Not actually so much for the change of scenery, but so I could run somewhere that was flat. And it's also beautiful. So with that, I was trying to decide what shoe should I wear. And this was last night before I was realizing how tired and potentially sick I am. Hopefully the Reezy throw up thing was just an overly excited 3-year-old and not we're all going to get taken out by the flu now, but it potentially could be that. Anyway, last night I was thinking, what shoe should I test tomorrow? I've tested a lot of the new race shoes. I got my verdict in on which ones are fire, which ones are mid, which ones are hot messes, and which ones are marshmallows. I'm waiting on the Vaporfly 4. I do not have that. I'm trying to get it in. I actually called a running store here in Charlotte to hook me up, and hopefully I'll be able to get that within the next few weeks. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I'm just a hobby jogger. I don't always get everything. You know, people get things early. Sometimes I can get them. Sometimes I can't. But I want to highlight this one today, and I need to apologize because the last video I did on this, the Mizuno Wave Rebellion Pro 2, I said, I'm never running in this shoe again. That was the title. So that was a lie. I apologize. Let's get that out of the way because I'm going to run in this shoe again right now. The reason I said I'm never running in this shoe again is because they dropped the V3 the following week, and I had that one on the way at the time, and so I thought, you know what, why would I ever run in the old version of the shoe? I typically give the old version of the shoe away for free on the Supwell app. Make sure you're on the Supwell app. I'll give that old version away. Except with this one, I decided not to because the 2 and the 3 are very similar, except this one is firmer. It feels more normal. It feels more direct. The 3 is actually a really nice shoe. The foam in there is explosively bouncy. It's tall, it's wacky, it's crazy. Yes, but it also is a legit banger for long runs. It's wild. And this thing is a legit banger for speed. So I actually haven't put this through a structured, fast workout, which is what I have this morning on the schedule. I don't have my Daniels book, but it is 6 kilos. We're going to be slanging 6 kilos, so 6 kilometers. Supposed to be at my I pace, my interval pace, which translates to a VO2 max pace. VO2 max pace is the pace that you can sustain for about 11 minutes in an all-out effort, which for me is around, it's fast. It's around anywhere from a 440 per mile to a 520 per mile, depending on the conditions, right around a 5 flat per mile. I've never actually raced an all-out 2 mile. Regardless, it is fast. This is a fast shoe. It's also, to my memory, a fun shoe. And the third thing is that it's free. No, it's not free, but it's under $150 right now on Running Warehouse, which is just crazy. And the reason why is not just because it's an old generation shoe, it's because people sleep on Mizuno. And this is a brand right now that's gotten a bloop and has gotten a blast. This was the first bloop, a little base hit, and then they got a ground ball right through the center of the second fielders. I told you I'm tired. Second baseman's there's so many Europeans watching this channel, though. I could have just said second fielder, and no one would have called me out. Someone on the Supple app the other day said Hoka was batting 400. They tried to say that as a diss. I saw it, and someone else commented, 400, if you're batting 400, that's legendary status. Opening day was this past week, right? Supwell baseball coming 2028. This thing is under $150 in Running Warehouse with our code right now because people sleep on Mizuno. The new version came out, and they got to move these things. And there's actually, last time I checked, which was last week, great availability on this. So, overview, awesome upper, very lightweight. You got 2 types of foam in the midsole. I think they're both PIBA. The top one is a PIBA. You got a firmer one on the bottom and a softer one on the top, a carbon fiber plate through the middle, and then a very aggressive geometry. Look at this. Let me see if I can put it. This is like the number one principle you don't do of filming. But guess what? I didn't go to film school. I went to grind school. The Don's grind school, grind family. I'm in a weird position because I'm trying to get this angle. Look at that. So you can see only the center point is actually on the ground, or the dashboard in this case, and then the front has the rocker and the back has the heel cutout. That's why not too many people consider this shoe, and I wouldn't recommend this for a full marathon. I don't even know if I'd recommend this for a half marathon. We'll see. I'll get my thoughts in after this workout, but it is a really fun, highly cushioned shoe. The reason it has this aggressive cutout in the back is so they can stuff more foam in the midfoot and get around those World Athletics regulations that say for elite, you can only have 40 millimeters in the back. By the way, I need to say this every time I talk about illegal shoes. Some people posted on my Instagram that, the Nova Blast 5 is an illegal shoe. You can't wear that. The illegal shoe thing only matters if you're trying to set a record in a marathon. They're not going to check your shoe or disqualify your time unless you're competing for prize money, or honestly, not even prize money. If you were to age group a local marathon wearing a Primex Strung, I highly doubt the race director is going to withhold your $50 Run Store gift card because you were wearing a 50 millimeter stock shoe. It's only for professional events where that stuff matters. So that's why they have this cutout in the back. Mizuno does have some elite athletes. Shout out to Japan putting in the work. And it's not actually too bad here for heel strikers through my first, I think I have about 20 miles on this thing. That was the surprise for me. This shoe was actually workable. I could get into it. It's not a recovery shoe for me. I'm not going to be using it for daily training, but very similar feel to the Alpha Fly, where if I want that explosion off the toe, this is the one I'm going to for training. And it does have more of a training feel to me versus the Alpha Fly. And man, at this price, it's $144 with the Supwell code on Running Warehouse. It's just too good of a deal not to highlight it in some way. I've highlighted it a few times on the Supwell Running Instagram, but there's still some inventory, so we got to highlight it again here. And if you are looking for a speed shoe, I think this could be in the conversation. So with that, I'm going to bang that porta potty, and then we can lace these up and get out there. Sometimes life can be exhausting, man. I'm just gonna give this workout my best shot. I have no idea if I'll be able to hit these paces today. I haven't even done strides since Monday, but some weeks gotta let the body recover. I do feel like I'm fighting something off, so we'll just see. Lacing these up, they have that classic mid-foot bump feel of the Cielo, of this thing, of any shoe that tries to skirt the rules and have an illegal amount of stack height in the middle. You're gonna get this feeling. So it is odd when stepping in, but don't let that completely disqualify you from at least trying one of these shoes. And somebody said recently they wish more running stores would let you run in shoes on the treadmill. Here in Charlotte, the Charlotte Running Company does. So I would check around, especially if you live near a bigger city, to see what running stores have treadmills, because then you can try and see these shoes that work for you. I wouldn't immediately say, oh, this shoe can't work for a heel striker. How this works if you're a heel striker is the platform will force you to land more on the middle. You can still have your normal, more flat-footed landing, and then it just rolls you forward. So it does take some time to get used to, but I've found that once I get into a groove, these shoes tend to be okay. Now, I've never run a full marathon in these, and again, I would not advise that, especially if you're an aggressive heel striker, not advise running a full marathon in such an aggressive shoe. But I think for a lot of people, it can work for shorter workouts. It can work for a half marathon. We'll just see today. What I really like about the shoe is the geometry promotes popping off the front. And with this slightly firmer tuned foam, I can push a lot of power. This is a driving type of shoe. It is a bruiser. And that's the beautiful element of it. Like the Alpha Fly, I've talked about the bruisers, the cruisers, and the losers. Like the Alpha Fly, this is a bruiser with a lot of cushion. What tends to happen is that these shoes with massive stacks of foam are better for cruising, like the Endorphin Elite too, right? I cannot push any power down through that shoe. The Cielo OG, that was a cruiser as well. I could try to run fast in it, but it's better for long runs. It's better for not ripping 5K pace with this thing. For me, I've felt that it's actually been best at 5K pace, and these paces that I will allegedly be hitting this morning, I don't know. I really don't know about that. By the way, my casual shoe today, 1080 V13, the legend. Yeah, walk test here, super weird. I might need to crank the upper down again. It feels loose in the back. Yeah, oh, that's the thing. So I'm wearing not my normal socks. And this is the thing. I always talk about those features, heel tab socks. It doesn't need to be features, but any sock like that will have a much better fit around the back because it has the padding. Today I'm wearing the crew length socks. It doesn't have the padding, so this upper has more space here. So I might have to crank these down one more time. Oh gosh, I'm feeling like moderate garbage right now. I'm going to take some water and then we can go. For these types of workouts, I don't bring a gel or anything. I just go and do them. My initial plan was to try to get 12 miles on this. I think that's still my plan. I don't know. Some days like this, I'll feel better once I start moving. So hopefully that's the case. All right. The running hat's coming on. It's real. It's go time. Alright. Let's do this thing. Both of my cameras are dying out of battery, so I didn't realize this one has 12% left. Also, I'm wearing the Supwell shirt. Sup up your best. I'm also wearing these Dick's Sporting Goods shorts, and I don't know if they have a key pocket. That's a fatal flaw out here at the Greenway, because I have to bring my Jeep key, and oh, there we go. All right, but for some reason I should lock the car. There we go. For some reason these Jeep keys are huge. Do you see that? I think it's because Jeeps are manly cars and manly things have to be large. So it's got this big manly key. All right, let's get out of here. Can't do better than our best, right? So plan is gonna be 2-mile warm up. And then I'll get into this workout. I forgot it was dirt on this side. So I'm basically running in a trail in these Mizuno high heels. Would not be my first choice. But yeah, the bounce in this foam is really nice. Chillier than I anticipated. It's probably about 47, maybe 50. That's what you call Carolina freezing. I think I caught a rock. That's why you call it the Rock Catcher 5000. Miles feel a lot longer out here. It's just straight and flat. Almost at mile 1. Shoes are feeling good, nice and fast, man. This rocker is so nice. Foam is bouncy. I think I'm just fighting off a cold. Legs are feeling good. Still have some fatigue, but I'm gonna give this a shot. My legs have the most pop they've had this week, combined with this shoe. So I think I'll be able to hit at least 5:20 pace on a few of these. Mile 1, 6:56. I'll throw some strides in here. Woo! Yeah, 4:46 pace. Legs are feeling good. Man, I remember coming out here exactly 5 years ago now, 1 or 2 weeks into when I first started running, pushing the stroller with Mason it on a 4-mile jog, feeling like I was climbing Mount Everest, could barely breathe at 10-minute pace. But telling myself I'm not gonna stop, I'm not gonna stop. And I used to work at Credit Karma. They were just around the corner here, about 2 miles down the road. And I would come here Friday after work and do an all-out 10K in a pair of Adidas trail shoes I had. Oh man, I'm sneezing. It's either allergies or I'm getting the bird flu. This thing died. It died at 3%. It came back. All right, we did it. That is total barefoot mafia behavior. Parking the itty bitty Beamer just directly next to me when we have an entire parking lot here. Just trying to catch some of the aura, I guess. Man, GoPro died, but guess what? We don't need the GoPro. Some days, you gotta ball with the lights off. It's easy to ball with the lights on. It's easy to ball when you're showing up to a major. It's easy to ball when you know everyone's looking at you. But when the cameras are off and the lights are off, not everyone wants to ball. Not everyone wants to be a lights off baller. 13 miles. 6:53 pace, 1 hour, 30 minutes, 16 seconds. For most of that workout, man, I was getting chills. Felt like I was gonna vomit at points, but we made it through it. That wasn't even English. We made it through it. We made it through. My mentality for that workout was first half with the 6 kilos, crank that. I was thinking Soldier Boy, crank that. Second half with the 4 quarters. I don't even know if I mentioned that this workout had 4 400s at the end. Just don't stop swimming. That was the mindset. Don't stop swimming. So I'm going to call this the Soldier Boy Dory workout. Crank that, and then you don't stop swimming. Lighting's kind of weird out here because the sun's blasting on me. There we go. Man, everybody wants to be a dog until it's time to sleep in the doghouse. Not a lot of people want to sleep in the doghouse, man. Everybody wants to be like Jordan until it's time to have a flu game. This was not a flu game, but I did not come into this feeling too hot. Let's throw it up. This has been a hard week. I've had 3 pitches. I was working till 10 a.m. or 10 p.m., 9, 10 p.m. back-to-back days, Wednesday, Thursday. I completely drained the tank on my 23-mile long run Sunday, so I've just been recovering this week and then going through the grinder, trying to hang on. But this is why I love marathon training, because it rewards hanging on, doing the best we can, staying in the fight, being healthy, taking care of ourselves, making it through the day, showing up to workouts, and executing. That's what marathon training rewards. There's no magic to it. There's no science to it other than execution. There is a science to it. But sometimes life is nuanced, but the takes sound better if you leave the nuance out. That's why Stephen A. Smith is so popular, right? Because he just says takes without nuance. LeBron is this. No, life is nuanced. And sometimes weeks are hard and workouts are hard, but just showing up and doing the best we can is all we can do. And today my best was actually able to run this workout perfectly. The execution was spot on. So if we take a look at these kilos, the workout was a few miles warm up. I did 2 miles warm up, 6 kilos with shorter recovery. So I did a kilo in about 3 minutes each time. And with the watch, people always ask me if I program it. I don't like the watch beeping at me. I also just don't like the watch telling me when to go and when not to go. I like to feel out the recovery. For example, today, sometimes I would take 2 minutes recovery. Sometimes I would take 2 minutes, 50 seconds recovery, depending on where I was starting, who was on the greenway. Now, this is a very easy place to run fast because it's for the most part flat, but there's twists, there's turns, there's bridges, which I'll talk about in a second here. So I just like to be in control of the workout. Sometimes I want 10 seconds more or less rest so I can click it off. And then I'll just look at and calculate. You do the hobby jogger math. So it's like a mental workout, not just a physical workout. I'll say, okay, I'm at 0.289 miles. A kilometer, a kilo is 6.2. So that means 9 plus 6 is 5.15. So that means I got to do this next one till 5.3. And I run it, and then when it's 5.3, I click it off. It works for me, and it keeps me sharp. It's like Sudoku. I don't do a lot of math in my day job, so this is the way I get my math in. It's how I keep my brain sharp. It's hobby jogger Sudoku. So I was banging these kilos in about 3 minutes, 5 seconds. Each time I was hanging on to that 5 flat pace. And the beautiful thing is, when I did that speed block, which I complained through the entire time, my R pace, repetition pace. So in the Daniel system, you have E, M, T, I, and R. E is relaxed. That's everyday pace, about 2 to 3 minutes slower per mile than your all-out 1 mile pace. So if your 1 mile pace is a 7 minute, if you were to do a 1 mile time trial and it's 7 minutes per mile, you're going to be running most of your everyday miles around a 10 minute, 9:30 or 11 minute pace roughly. For me, my all out mile would be about a 4:30, 4:40. So roughly my everyday pace is anywhere from 7 to 8, 6:30 to 8. M, marathon pace. My marathon pace that I'm training for is a 5:40. T, threshold. My threshold pace is right now around a 5:25, 5:30. And then I, that is VO2 max pace. That's the pace that you can sustain for about 11 minutes. And that's the pace I was doing today. And then you have R, which is 1 mile race pace. So E, that's the pace you could do for 4, 5, 6, 7 hours. That's the all day pace. M is the pace that you could sustain for a few hours. T is the pace that you could sustain for 1 hour. I is the pace that you could sustain for 10 to 15 minutes. And then R is the pace that you could sustain for 5 to 8 minutes. So what I was able to do, I realized, was just in January, those R repetitions, cranking on 200s, 400s, 600s, 800s, all out every single week. That pace was about a 440, 450, 5 flat. A lot of the time just hanging on a 505. And then today, I was able to extend that R pace to my I pace. And this is the entire purpose of training. We want to extend the speeds that we're capable of. That's it. That's it. For the majority of us out here, we're not going to be accessing any higher speeds. We're not actually going to be getting faster. If you were to go out here and do a maximal sprint or a 1 minute hard run, you're likely never going to run a 5K faster than that time right now, unless you have a long way to go in your fitness. But for most of us, I'll just speak for myself. When I just started, I could run a mile in about 6 minutes flat, right? And now that's my marathon pace, and I could probably run a sprint in a 4 minute pace. I haven't increased my maximal pace, but what we do through training is we increase those sub-maximal paces. We extend the amount of time we could do. So I was able to turn that R to an I. That sounds like a Boldy James line, right? Flip the R to an I in 2 months. Now we back up. That's gosh dang hard. So just 2 months ago, I was running 2-minute intervals. This is another way to look at it. I was running 30-second to 2-minute intervals at this pace. Today, I was running 3-minute intervals at this pace, and I did 6 of them. So I'm really proud of that. Let's talk about the shoe, Mizuno Wave Rebellion Pro 2. This thing is a complete banger. And it's also completely slept on because it's Mizuno, but a bloop and a blast, baby. I'm telling you, Mizuno is back on the map. They are in the game when it comes to performance running. This is an older model shoe, and I feel bad that I didn't test it sooner, but it's also one of those shoes that is more niche and specialized and works well for a certain style of running. So for this workout today, it reminded me a lot of what I have dubbed the fastest shoe, at least my fastest shoe, the Asics Metaspeed Sky Paris. Aggressive plate position, rewards a mid to forefoot strike, and rewards power. Difference is, this is so highly cushioned, so like the Alpha Fly, it has that cushion protective feel, but once you're digging in through the front, it just feels softer and bouncier in the best way possible. So as I am hitting my VO2 max pace, that 11-minute race pace, 10-minute race pace, about a 5 flat, it feels so good. And throughout this workout, my entire mantra was crank that. Like I said, the first 6 kilos, just crank that. Digging in, kicking, extending, trying to do 2 things at the same time. What do the Asics Metaspeed Sky Paris and Edge Paris say? They say the Sky Paris is for cadence runners, those who pick up the cadence. Sorry, the Sky Paris, I'm already getting confused. Sky Paris is for power runners, or runners who are increasing their speed through the stride length, so kicking longer. Then the Edge Paris is for cadence runners, those who are taking more steps per minute. I was trying to do both of those today, and to access these interval paces for me, these kilos paces at a 5 flat, I have to kick hard and I have to kick fast. This shoe was rewarding that 110%. It felt so responsive to what I was trying to do. Each time I tried to take more steps per minute, it felt the shoe was just getting bouncier. And as I tried to put more power into that stride or kick farther, it felt that it was extending my stride. Why is that? Well, the foam is extremely bouncy and energetic, especially with more power. And then the rocker, it also rewards digging in through the front. And this is one of the few use cases, maybe the only implementation I have ever felt of a 50mm midfoot stack actually providing more bounce and not just having me lose my energy. Even with the Cielo OG, when I'm cranking that, anything below a 520, 530 pace, it just doesn't come alive as much. It has more of the protection. This has the protection, but the harder I'm going, the faster, the softer, and the bouncier in a good way it feels. Soft to me usually is not a good thing. In this thing, it is, because the protection, the bounce, and the fling off the forefoot is just amazing. So great rocker. The foam is extremely energetic. The stability was actually not bad. So out here, as I was saying, there's bridges. I also had to start off on some of the, what is it called? The gravel and just rocky area. I took a rock out of here. I took one of the spiky ball things out of here on the cool down, and it wasn't terrible. It was just anytime, so there's these almost 90-degree angles, maybe it's an 80-degree, 70-degree angle that I have to turn at a 450 pace or a 5 flat pace onto a bridge. I could feel just this something weird going on with the midfoot here as I was trying to drive and turn at the same time. So in a marathon, likely will not be the biggest deal. At marathon paces, it's easier to make those kind of turns, but this is a 5K pace or even faster, a 2-mile race pace, 1-mile race pace. For me, it is really hard to make that type of a turn without slowing down in this shoe. However, it was really easy to switch gears. And I've found with the softer shoes, like the Endorphin Elites of the world, even the softer shoes that I've enjoyed, like a Saucony Endorphin Pro 4 or on Cloud Boom Strike, it's not always as easy to go through the gears. It's not always easy to slow down and speed up. The firmer a shoe is, typically the more control we have over the platform. It's like the chassis of a car. And the suspension, the more rigid that suspension is, if you think about a race car that's tuned to go to the track, it is very firm suspension. Going over a bump, it's jittery. But the positive of that, the trade-off, is you get a lot of control as you're banging a corner. A car like a Lexus LX, very soft suspension. It will be comfortable as you go over those bumps, but it will waft around the corners. It's the mush, right? cars have the same trade-offs as the shoes. It's the same physics that are going into it. So with this, firmer, easier to switch through the gears, easier to get that control, but it's just the midfoot here. That's the one issue. You can't cheat a 50 millimeter stack. I don't have my calipers out here, but it is a 50 millimeter stack in the midfoot here. So $150 or $144 with our Supwell discount code on the Running Warehouse website. That is a really gosh dang good deal. Who should buy this shoe? Not everyone should just go out and buy it because it's $144. If you want to feel fast, if you want to train fast and have something comfortable, you should buy this shoe. The comparison to the Sky Paris is in that forefoot aggression. The difference is that you get way more protection in here, and my calves were not getting as smoked. The Sky Paris completely tears up my calves, and there's just this discomfort to that platform because it's so narrow and aggressive. Because you're getting all this foam here, at least for me, I can run hard in it, but there still is a degree of comfort and fun. That's the thing with the Sky Paris and the Edge Paris. They're fast, laser, needle, hornet-like shoes, but they're lacking the joy, the verve, the free-flowing experience I like when I'm doing a fast speed workout like today. So this blends the fun with some comfort. It's a really nice training shoe for speed. It's not as aggressive for marathon paces as the Alpha Fly, but it's not as uncomfortable for speed paces like the Metaspeed Sky Paris. It's right in the middle if you could take the cushion of the Alpha Fly with the aggression of the Sky Paris. So if you are looking for that type of a shoe, if you want to run hard and be rewarded for it, if you're gonna be able to put a lot of power down through the shoe, or it's either or, right? If you can be a midfoot driver like I am when you're running fast, you'll get a lot of benefit from the shoe. Or if you're picking up the pace with a lot of steps through the forefoot like our guy Midlife Runner, right? This is one of the shoes we always joke that we have completely contrasting takes, which actually isn't the case. We both like the Skyward X, the Evo SL, but shoes like the Cielo X1 2.0 that are just so mushy in the forefoot, he's the type of a runner who likes those shoes. They're softer, they benefit more people with the higher cadence who aren't gonna be driving through the platform. This blends it because you get the foam in the midfoot, but it's firmer and it responds to putting force, whether that's through size or pace. And then the forefoot geometry here really rewards those who can pick up the cadence as well. So this is a complete speed day banger. If you're looking for a new speed training shoe, bada boom, bada bang, this will also be a great half marathon shoe if you want something aggressive. I'm not gonna recommend this for a marathon unless you are an aggressive forefoot to midfoot runner, but here's the thing. All right, everyone wants to be a dog until it's time to sleep in the doghouse. Everybody wants to be a forefoot striker until it's time to hit mile 22 of a marathon PR. Who you mad at, me or yourself? So I'm not going to recommend this shoe for the full marathon, but half marathon, 10K, 5K. If you want to take a flyer on a fun and fast shoe, this is it. The grip was also great. I was running hard out here. I wasn't doing my 400s or the kilos on the gravel. And by the way, for the 400s, my mantra was just keep those legs moving as fast as I can. Just keep swimming, like Dory, right? Like Dory for Finding Nemo. Just keep swimming, kick those legs as fast as I can, because you got to remember the purpose of these workouts. The purpose of the kilos here is scientific, right? It's to work that VO2 max. It's to flex aerobic power. These are the fastest aerobic paces we can sustain. And quite simply for me, it's going to reinforce the type of mechanics that encourage an efficient marathon stride. That's the way to look at the kilos. And then the 400s for me is just, can I get some extra juice out of this workout? The 400s are not gonna give me any scientific benefit. I don't have to run them at all. It's mental. And the whole workout for me today was mental because I was feeling like trash, but let me just kick as hard and fast as I can for these last 400s, see if I can hang on and see if I can teach my body to kick when I'm tired and teach my mind what it feels like. I don't think I'm gonna get much scientific benefit out of it. But yeah, on the gravel here, the grip was great. They have a really nice coverage. Look at that. I mean, that's a beautiful outsole right there, baby. And there's some sort of cheesecloth material protecting the foam too. So this feels like it's gonna be a really durable shoe. This was now my third run in it, so I don't have a ton of mileage, but I think I did a 10-mile run, I did this run and another. So we have about 30 something miles I don't know if it's breaking in, but it feels really comfortable, surprisingly comfortable at those paces. It's not going to feel great at, for me, 8-minute, 9-minute, 10-minute jogging pace. This is not going to be the shoe I take out for relaxed miles, for long, relaxed training runs. But for any day where you want some fun, or you want to crank it, this is it. This is the Soulja Boy running shoe. Yoo! You guys remember that? Or was it? Well, that was going down, and then crank that was you had the whole dance, right? All right, I think that's all I have for you today, man. This has been a tough week, but it's one of those times you just got to keep the mustard on the dog. And I don't advise always going into the pain cave and always coming out here and banging hard workouts when we're not feeling it, but some days it is worth it for me. I don't have a big goal race in the next 4 to 6 weeks, and it was a gamble. I could have thrown up in the middle of that. I felt pretty much awful for the majority of it. I'm actually feeling better now from the endorphins. I'm hoping I don't crash later today, but these are the bets we have to make sometimes as hobby joggers. The days we're not feeling great, some days pushing through and going hard can have a benefit mentally. So that's my philosophy on it. You can read the hat. It says hobby jogger. That's my hobby jogger philosophy. At times, it is good to push ourselves mentally when we're not feeling it to get some of those psychological adaptations. If you want to be a boss, you got to boss up. All right, that's all I have for you today. I appreciate you. I'll be back tomorrow with another video. One more thing, man. I brought this other shoe, this Daily Trainer here, that I was going to potentially run in if I wasn't feeling it. I gave myself an easy out. But you know what? I said, I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to follow through. I'm going to execute. I'm going to give it my best shot. I'm going to try to ball. When the lights are off, you got to be a lights off baller. I forgot. I was telling the story of when I used to come out here, and then the GoPro died. But yeah, I used to come out here every week for a few months, and when I started running, this was my favorite place to run. And I remember being out here first month of running with Mason in the stroller and just giving it my all on a quote-unquote easy run. This is why I don't say easy runs, because at that point, running a 10-minute mile was not easy, especially pushing the stroller. And that's the beautiful thing about running, though, just the progression, being able to come out here now, slinging kilos at a 4:55 flat pace, twice as fast as I was running back then. So it was cool to come out here again and run hard in a place where I used to run hard. But yeah, you got to stay committed. For me, that's why I love running. You stay committed, you put in the work, and it rewards you. And I don't know how long that's going to be the case, because there is a point where that's not going to be true anymore, and that's the hard thing about it, right? Especially as we get older. But you can see a lot of gains by just being consistent and sticking with it. And when it gets tough, it's fun to look back and see how far we've come. So I think that's all I have for you today. I'm hungry.